Okay, this is segment 4 on Microsoft Access and database queries. And let me go out to the what's called the conceptual view of relational database tables. And this is where I think a lot of students struggle with the concept of relational database because it relies heavily upon mathematical set theory. And if we take a look at the basic idea of tables as objects, so we have a listing or a set of customers, a set of orders, and a set of salespeople. When we join the tables together, what we're really talking about is the intersection of those three sets, or in the case of the database, the intersection of the tables. What particular rows are in common between those three tables. So in the next example here, we're going to look at, and again you can get the database from the SharePoint site, and we're going to look at the Employee.mdb file, employee database. And I have this open over here with Microsoft Access, and what I want you to do is click on Database Tools and then go to Relationships. And this is where within Microsoft Access we can see the relationships between the three tables that are listed here. So again, I've got a listing of employees, locations, and their titles. So I'm going to drag those onto the page here. And so I have my list of who works for this particular company, Social Security number, last name, first name, etc. What their title is, so notice how it's linked over here to the titles table, and then so this is a listing of particular job positions with the key part here is the education required. And notice that the primary key is title ID, and that's a one-to-many relationship where title ID is a foreign key in the employees table. Similarly, we have a listing of the locations that employees work, and that's keyed by the location ID. And then I have the location name, address, and so forth. And what's important here is the state field, and I'll show that next as we build a query. Again, the primary key is location ID, which is a foreign key over here in the employees table. So let's build a query to answer this business question right here. Who has jobs requiring a 4-year degree and lives in Illinois? So let me close this here, and it'll take a second here. I'm not going to save that. I'm going to go back and create a new query, and I'm going to grab all three tables, add those to the top half of the section. And remember our database query questions that we're interested in. We want to know who has the jobs. So let's get our last name. That's going to identify the who. And we'll just move this around to make the picture a little bit clearer here. Put employees in the middle. And the idea of who has the job, who has the 4-year degree, well, we're going to need to get education required, and we're also going to need state so that we know who lives in Illinois. And then let's bring in down location just so that we can see the detail here. I'm going to run the query, and here's my listing of all of my employees. So I have several employees that have a 4-year degree. I'm going to just copy that particular value right now, and let's see here. Again, it has a 4-year degree, so let's copy that just so I don't have to type that all in. And notice that the state is IL for Illinois. We have our locations in Chicago, Boston, etc. So let's go back to the design view and add in our criteria. So we will paste our criteria right here. Tab through that, and in our state will be IL for Illinois. And again, that's important to remember. You'll find this with Rolling Thunder, that a lot of times the state, sometimes the state is spelled out in entirety, in other cases it's abbreviated. So you need to know what the data is before you start putting in the criteria. So then we can run this, and here's our listing of people that work in Illinois and have a 4-year degree. So that wraps up the example here for building a simple join between 3 different tables.